Hey y'all, time for another tutorial. I'm Eka, and today it's going to be a spicy one. We're going to be modeling out a scene from Cardi B's and Megan Stallion's WAP video. Was it WAP? I don't know. Either way, regardless, we're going to be doing modeling out the A part of the WAP. So, we got first thing is some reference. That's what the frame looks like in the video. And we're going to be sculpting that and try to match that in Blender. I've just started using Blender, but I'm familiar with sculpting, so this would be a good way to check out the sculpting tools. This tutorial, if you've never used Blender, I'll try to keep it super basic. And we're going to try to sculpt this and get it done in the next 30 minutes. So I have some references, some glute reference, some muscle reference, some leg reference. All right, I'm going to get this out of the way. Okay, Blender, we loaded up. We're using 2.83, I believe. Any of the versions will work if it's up to date. First thing, when you load up Blender, it's going to have the default cube. We're going to delete it. We're going to hit Shift A and do some metaballs. Add a metaball. Okay, and then we're going to do Shift D, which clones it. So metaballs are these things that just kind of mush together like that when you get them close. All right. Hit G to move it around. Actually, that's fine. Where it is. Okay. So if you hold on middle mouse button, you can rotate around the view. Hold on Shift middle mouse button, it'll pan the view. The middle mouse button, scroll in and out to zoom. All right. So we're going to Shift D again, copy that metaball. And then we're going to hit scale, S for scale, and scale it down. G to put it in place. Shift D again. Scale it. Essentially, let's bring this back in. Essentially, we're building up our start of a butt, glutes, and then the thighs. Okay, let's copy that thigh part. Shift D. Copy over here. This doesn't have to be super accurate. It's just it can be real rough. Shift D that part. G to move. Okay. So you can see the pose on this is it's on our right leg. So we're going to shift it over a little bit like this. Again, when we start getting to sculpting, we don't have to really worry about the pose so much on this. It's just more just to get some base shapes going. Let's get this out of the way. All right, you know what? That's good enough. So we're going to go to Sculpting. And before we do that, we have to convert these metaballs. M balls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M balls. I'm going to select it, go to Object, convert to mesh from curve meta surface text. There we go. Now it's combined into a single M ball, metaball. Okay. So if we go into wireframe, you can see, it's not super high res. That's fine. So let's go into, we're in sculpting. All right. Once we have it as a single metaball, we're going to go into this panel, which is a sculpt. We're going to turn on Dino Topo. And just to make it easy for now, we're just going to go to constant detail. And I'll explain what that means. Resolution, let's do 20. You want to keep the resolution fairly low as you're sculpting. Also, since it's going to be... Actually, we'll do it symmetrically first. That's there. I think X was probably what we wanted. Yeah, that's fine. We'll turn it off. Okay. So, as we're sculpting, you can see that's the resolution. Let's go to 10. That's probably good. Okay, so we're going to start getting some shapes, smoothing it out. Again, remember we're trying to keep your reference. We're trying to do that. So I'll get this out of the way. There we go. So I'm just clicking around with the default brush. That's not going to work. I'll move this out over here. So the default brush I'm using is the draw brush. And then click around, you hold down Shift, and it'll start adding the resolution based on the resolution down here. If I hold down Control, get that butt crack. Get that roughed out. The goal is to, when you're sculpting, keep things as rough as possible, as long as possible. Bring that up. So I'm going between Control to push in, Shift to smooth, and regular draw to add. So just kind of get this butt some shape. We'll just detail this out a little bit just to get some basic shape going. I'm not going to worry so much about the front because it's going to be mounted on a wall here, like it is in the video. So more like a relief sculpture than anything else. All right, now let's start. Use the grab tool and then start shaping it. Because the waist gets fairly skinny on this model, but it's pretty big. And again, it's angled pose there. Smooth that out. We'll start shaping. So keeping the resolution low will allow you to get, and again, we can smooth this out. So using the grab tool, just shaping it. Hold down Shift. There's a lot of butt going on here, so just pull it out. Waist comes in. So this is where you want to start looking at your anatomy, right? By the way, this thing I have right now, it's called Pure Ref. It's a program that will sit on top of anything else. It's super useful. It's free download. Okay. So if we try to match the angle here, you can see the leg's going to go in more. I'm using the brackets left and right to scale up the brushes. There's a lot of good resources out there for shortcuts, keys. In terms of how the butt cheeks meet, it's like general shape, so I'll make sure this goes up and goes up pretty far in. Again, once we get a general shape, we'll start sculpting again. Hold on Shift, smooth it out. Shape, shape, shape. And we'll just do a little bit on the front too. Okay, let's get that out of the way again. Go back to your, actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to clay and build it up a little bit. Clay strips, that's what I want. Is that right? Clay strips. Build up and smooth. Actually, probably better here. Again, I'm still learning the tools. Kind of more used to ZBrush stuff, but thought I might try out, check out the sculpting tools. In Blender. So we got that. Get that butt crack going. Glutes going here. Smooth it out, smooth it out. Generally still trying to get the shape right. And we got fluid of definition onto the leg. Flatten out this piece here where it meets the body. And let's just shape the front a little bit too. It's good to have anatomy reference with you all the time, especially when you're sculpting from different angles. Anyway, we're still keeping it fairly loose in terms of resolution. Okay, this might be a good time to start going into kind of redefining some of the muscles. And the shape is still not quite there yet. The glutes come out a little bit more like that. This kind of goes in. Front of the legs really don't look like that, but you know, we're not going to be seeing from the front, so it doesn't really matter. This goes out a little more. This goes out a little more. Okay, let's start filling in. There. Okay, we're going to change the resolution to 20 at this point and start getting into some more detail in here. There's some defined areas and then some more smooth areas, right? Like where the butt cheeks meet is fairly defined. And this kind of muscle down here and the glutes. So it's really, you want to have those kind of more big muscle areas and smaller details next to each other will give us some good look. So now that we're smoothing with a more resolution, you can see it, the whole mesh gets a little smoother, right? So just, you know, kind of going and smoothing out the lumps, just trying to get an overall shape, trying to match the concept. I'm not worried too much about the front because we're not going to see so much, but all right. I'm going to build this up a little more here. Get the waist going a little bit. Definition. That's a little lumpy. Trying to keep things subtle in terms of, especially it's kind of a, well, the butt cheeks are kind of spherical, so we don't want to get too lumpy in areas because it won't render well. Okay, now we're going to go to, where is my pinch tool? Crease. Okay, crease tools are cool because you can start getting the details to come in like that. And start getting more definitions up here. More definition down here. Okay. Gonna go back to look at our reference again. It's not quite there, right? It's still, we're trying to match the angle a little bit. We need some more definition up here. Bring this up, waist up a little bit more. Smooth that out. This needs some more love right there. So it's, you know, it's 3D, so you have to kind of rotate around to make it, to get different angles, make sure it's all reading well. Fill out the cheeks a little bit more. it out. Okay, that's starting to match a little bit better. Let's go with let's load this, load this, tuck it in here. All right, let's bring this out of here. You see, you know, we're getting there. Okay, let's work on some leg muscle stuff. I have little bits like this. Oops. What's your reference? So there's these strips of muscles that go after the glutes, you know, and go under and over. So we're gonna try to mimic some of those with our clay strips tool. There's muscles that kind of go like this, and then smooth. Muscles kind of go like this, smooth. All right, we're just trying to get some definition, right, to make it feel like an actual leg. Okay, and then there's some muscle bits here. Let's finish off here. Okay. So this bit means we need to cap that off and flatten it. So we're going to do the flatten tool, and it's like this. I need to get a harder edge on that, or crease it. And then just like that. All right, it's getting there, it's getting there. Let's go back to our crease tool. Slight little definition that goes right through under where the butt meets the leg there. Smooth that out a little bit more. And there's a little more definition right here. Okay. Let's make that brush a little bigger, and then we can smooth it out more. Alright, the best way to see if your shapes are clean at this point, which I think we'll start getting into some material stuff. I'm looking at my reference off screen, my second monitor here. Just seeing the angles. Get that edge a little tighter. And smoothing out, hold on again, holding out shift again. Kind of hint of the knee, back of the knees coming up here. And the muscles kind of hitting that, or meeting that, I guess. Okay. How's that look next to our ref? Not bad, not bad. Let's go back to the grab tool. Bring this in a little bit. Again, the body is, it's on our right leg. The pressure's on our right leg. So the body shifts slightly to the, you know, counter to the left. So all this muscle tension that is happening here, it's going to be like this. This cheek's going to be a little higher than this. Okay, and that crease, we got to bring that crease back. Tension there. Bring that tension back. It's going to hit light right there and catch that light. I want to make sure we hit that just like this. Okay, get this out of the way. Where is... Again, I'm still learning these tools. Crease. There, inflate, crease, smooth. Pinch, that's what I want. That really brings those elements that are around that crease area tighter together. Okay. All right, so that is fine for now. We're just gonna check it out first. Let me smooth this out a little bit. There's a muscle right there that kind of goes that way. Smooth that out a little bit. Again, we're not going to see the front. So let's add 50. Oops. Undo that. What am I doing? Layout. Okay. Shift A. No. I'm still in sculpt mode. Shift A. Okay. We're going to add a cube for the wall. G to move it around. Because it's like a relief sculpture, so it's going to be attached to the wall like it is in the video. And then we're going to scale it on the X. So we'll do that. And then hit S, scale it on the Z. And we'll do that. We'll get our camera. It's going to match the angle of our reference, so something like that. And we're going to tell the view, align active camera to selected. Boom. And then we hit the camera view. That didn't quite work. I don't think I did that right. Okay, so we're going to do this. View. Align active camera to view. That's what I want. Okay. There we go. We're going to select the camera. G. Oops. What else is? I'm done doing this right. Okay. G. Middle mouse. Zoom in and out a little bit. Okay. So we're going to render that. Go here. We don't have any materials. We don't have any lighting. Okay, so we're going to work on that now. So select the sculpt. Go into material. We're going to add a new material. And base color is kind of yellowish. It's definitely metallic. Boom, right? We got to get that going. Okay. Once you get the material on there, you can kind of see where it's rough. I mean, there's some rough moments. We can go in and keep tweaking it. Let's just get the sort of the material and lighting set up. So let's get that wall color. It's going to add a new material. Again, go to Material tab, New Material. It's kind of a deep color like that. And then the light. How's the light? I have to go into this mode. Okay, so you can see where there's highlights on the top of the cheeks, so we know there's a light source somewhere in there. And there's probably two light sources, looks like, right? There's one that hits right about there, and then we're going to Shift D it. Get another light source going. Okay, so let's go to our camera view. And then we'll start moving these lights around. Try to match the same kind of highlight that's action that's going on there. So let's bring it down a little bit more. Up here, like so. And then, so we're trying to match this highlight with that light. So let's move it in X. There we go. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Move it up in the Z. There we go. So we're kind of hitting that light there, hitting the crack right there, and the top of the cheek. Okay, and then I'm gonna increase that power. Let's get to like 3000. Radius is probably fine. Okay, increase that power. Let's go back to here, and we need some bounce lighting here, right? So we're gonna do that with the secondaries. First thing we're gonna do is turn on ambient occlusion. You see, ambient occlusion is the thing that when a surface, when like essentially cracks and armpits, or butt cracks in this case, you'll see it adds a little bit extra shading, right? You can see here, right there, it adds that when it stuff's in shadow. So we can increase that a little bit, just get a little bit of extra shading. Okay, and we're gonna add some reflections. There we go. See, now we're starting to see the surface here reflected back onto the left, same way we see it here. With it on and off, and you're starting to see it's self-reflecting on there, just like this. There's not enough lighting here, so we probably need to add another light. Let's go Shift D, move a light out here, G. Let's go right about there. And then we're going to turn that light down because it's just really, radius will help. Maybe the value will help a little bit. And then moving it down on the different axes just to get a little bit of bounce lighting to kind of match our reference. Now, these reflection, the shapes of those really determined by the metallicness of and the speculars, and really the roughness. So you can see, like, if it's like fully reflective, like something like a mirror, versus the surface having a little bit of roughness to it, you can see how it reacts. So looks like we need a little more resolution on our mesh too. You're starting to see some artifacts. So it looks like it's kind of somewhere in that range. Maybe even there. Yeah. All right, we're getting there, right? Let's hit F12, see what it looks like. How are we looking? Well, that camera angle doesn't look right. And we could use more resolution. Looks like it's kind of chunky there, right, in areas. But we're getting close. The shadows don't quite match. A lot of that has to do with sort of how close the light is. Yeah, starting to go stuff like that. And the radius, you can see the difference of, yeah. Okay, so what's up with our camera? That looks right. Okay, let's select the camera. Let's adjust. So I was actually waiting on, let's remove that. Okay, so I can show you, because it took a little while. Let's do subdivision. So we're going to go to little wrench, modify panel. We're going to do a subdivision surface. And that might take a little while depending on how fast your computer is. Let's go. It's thinking about it. Essentially it's subdividing, so we're adding more detail. You see things got a little smoother, right? So viewport, we're going to set that to 2 for now. Render that. take its time. The mesh is high resolution, so it's going to take a little longer to render now. Yeah, not bad. So what are we missing? Still need some little bit of bounce. I'm going to adjust the light colors to get that. We're getting some reflections there. That's good. Getting reflections under here. The color value isn't quite there, so we can adjust the light color, and then that isn't kind of reflecting that well. So the other thing is we can, you know, can't make sure there's other parts, because this is in the hallway, so it'll probably be something like this. So there's other stuff to reflect it. All right, let's try this again. We could try adding some light probes, which might help with the lighting. I'm still learning some of the lighting settings too in Blender. That add a bit? Did that help much? I can't really tell. Can you? No. Okay, so we're gonna add Shift A, light probe, irradiance volume. That's this thing here. Essentially, it's great for lighting situations where you want to pre-calculate some things, like lights bouncing around. So let's go to, resolution's good. I go to our camera, indirect lighting. We're gonna bake it, which, let's see how long that takes. Oh, looks like it's taking a while. Oh, there it goes. Just had to think about it. All right, let's see if that made a difference. Waiting for my rendering. It's going. We're starting to see a little bit of bounce, I think, there. Still looks like it needs a little more. I think what we're going to do is adjust our lights colors a little bit. Go from white to, there we go, a little bit of color variance. This one we're going to go kind of fake the room bounce a little bit. Too strong. Just give it a little bit more variance. All right, I think I might call that done. Probably keep messing with this, but let's render it out. Yeah, it's still a little dark, I think. Yeah, we need a little more bounce lighting, but we can adjust that in Photoshop if we like. Anyway, just want to do a quick, easy tutorial on Blender, just sculpting tools and checking that out. Thanks for watching.